You did touch upon AI and ML, and that sort of ties nicely into what we wanted to sort of discuss as the last part of our synopsis that we shared with the crowd, which is what are the trends, whether it's artificial intelligence or machine learning enabled systems that you guys are most excited about. Again, you guys are spending so much time in this industry. You guys know probably most, both from a services standpoint, industry standpoint, and software standpoint, right? So starting with you, Anirudh, like what are the 2 or 3 most exciting things that you think are happening in the cloud accounting space, and you see, for example, they're at the forefront of, or at least wish to see, in the coming years?
I mean, I think obviously a lot of people are talking about AI, but then, and I think for some people it's just the word is scary these days, just throwing in the word AI everywhere. But it's not really something that hasn't existed before. Xero has already had sort of this AI capability within the product, like Stefan mentioned, like bank feeds and things like that. But it's not just something like AI that many people are finding able to comprehend, but it's even the simple things that are already happening right now, such as e-invoicing, for instance. I mean, luckily, fortunately for us here in Singapore, the government has been pushing businesses to adopt e-invoicing solutions. So just if you look at Xero's standpoint, as a supplier, I can just send my invoice to my customer from within Xero. My customer can actually make payments right then and there, because it's integrated with different payment gateways, so you can make payments by credit cards or even by PayNow here in Singapore. But that just, you don't have to chase payments anymore. This saves massive amount of time, healthy cash flows. That's one of those things. Another thing that we've done here at Xero especially is we've also, over the last 6 months to a year, we've launched a sort of automatic filing of GST forms. So your GST reporting, especially your GST Form 5, GST Form 8, you can automatically file them from within Xero into IRAS. So that's another thing. So all of this saves time. Apart from that, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, bank feeds, ecosystem and integration with multiple software. And I think the biggest trend that we'll see in the next 5 years is definitely carbon accounting. That's something that's really picking up. Carbon accounting.
Emissions.
Yeah, ESG emissions. I think before you know it, SMEs and most companies are going to be affected.
From an industry standpoint, like if you had a magic wand, what would you wish to see change, or some trend to be well adopted that would make the life of any CFO a lot easier?
So again, on the topic of AI, I think it's a very big word, but I would dissect that into smaller parts. So, for instance, optical character recognition, it could also be done by the AI per se, something that people is doing that is, I think, very important and very useful for traditional businesses. And things like automated messaging could also be done by AI, via WhatsApp, via email. So small things like that can make communications a lot easier amongst the various stakeholders that a traditional business has to deal with, from your customers, your vendors, your different teams in maybe the company, your auditors, everyone else. So when things are manual, such communications can be painful and lengthy. And when it's automated, it can then be a lot more systematic, things are timely, things are proper, and life gets better for everyone.
I think what will make me really excited is like the software is able to do the accounts for me. I think that's the dream, but there's still the requirement for human intervention. So, but I think softwares are moving to a stage where a lot of processes are being automated, and then that gives more time to the accountants and the finance professionals to work on other things and to make sense of the data. I think that's something that we should all work towards, to understand a little bit of data analytics, understand a bit about AI, how it would impact us. I think we shouldn't fear it like it's some form of like a replacement to our jobs or our security. But I think it's something that we can work together and learn as well. And I think one good point was carbon accounting. I think how this ties up together with the future and digitalization is that, this started, I would say, a couple of years back, according to Singapore, like the Singapore Stock Exchange, all the listed companies are required to do sustainability reporting. So now ACRA, the Business Authority of Singapore, is pushing this across to the general SMEs. So you can see the shift in the direction of the government. So how this actually works is like for listed companies, when they do their sustainability reporting, they have to do material analysis on what are the key areas that's affecting the business or the environment, or corporate governance and things like that. And then after that, they are supposed to have milestones to track it. So with all these requirements that is like put down to local SMEs and even mid-cap businesses, this is going to be additional administrative hassle to everyone. So I think it's good time to actually start to digitalize and move towards trying to automate as much of these processes as possible, so that us as accountants or finance individuals or business owners can move towards more higher value activities rather than transactional based activities. I think that would be an interesting shift towards how we process and do our things moving forward.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I think with this, I also wanted to quickly add something that I sort of picked up from each of you, and sort of ties back in terms of what are the changes that we have seen in the last 2 years. I think what is very evident is the modern or the best cloud accounting software tools of today are actually focusing not just on providing or streamlining bookkeeping or accounting services, but have created a perfect ecosystem for tools such as Bigflow to come on top and solve very specific, sometimes sector specific or industry specific use cases. And I think this trend is probably one of the most promising things that have emerged over the last couple of years. What that means is if somebody is in the logistics space or in the construction space, or has a specific collections use case or a payables use case to streamline, they can potentially pick and choose different software that exist in this ecosystem, connected to their source of truth, and solve the problem. And I think the API layer or the aggregation of tools that solve these pain points on top of pre-existing solutions is probably, I think, one of the biggest changes that we've seen in the last 2-3 decades. I think going back to the time when probably SAP and Oracle were absolutely the gold standard of the ERPs, but ended to be sort of enclosed ecosystems. But now we're in an era wherein a lot of these accounting softwares, even the older ones, have been sort of been forced to create an ecosystem layer on top to actually solve some of these things. I think to me this seems to be the biggest shift, and I think if this is the direction we are heading towards, I think in a couple of years we'll be in a position wherein there is interoperability with your X software with Y tool to solve Z pain point. And that interoperability, that modular connections, I think would be key to actually solving a diverse set of pain points as and when they emerge.